Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Alright, if you've seen some of my other content, you like the direction that my channel is going, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with anybody you think may benefit from it, alright? So today's video is going to be about stop being thirsty. Alright, we living in a day and age where like mad dudes is just, in my opinion, they just giving females way too much power with non-sexual attention. AMS kind of hints on that, alpha male strategies. He talks about how like alpha males trade, their attention, and they get the benefit from whatever they want from the female as an equal and even exchange. Whereas other dudes like beta males, they tend to just shower females with way too much attention. Hence, most females walking around with a real inflated ego. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We live in a time where the dynamic between the sexes is twisted, warped, and downright toxic, especially in the Western world. This can be attributed to multifaceted cultural change, which has layers upon layers attached to it. Some of these layers include, but are not limited to, number one, feminism. All right. This ideology has permeated nearly all aspects of modern society, defined as the advocacy of women's rights on the ground of equality between the sexes. This movement, at face value, makes sense. I mean, when you think about like feminism on the surface, it does make sense. Women should have, let's say, the opportunities that men have to go out, work, and go after their dreams. Okay. Also being able to vote, work, participate in society, so on and so forth, right? However, feminism has many flaws in its application and is very contradictory in that it appears to push for superiority over men while simultaneously pushing away agency. So have you guys ever heard that term? It's more like a quote that says, "With great power comes great responsibility." This is something that feminism is notoriously good for. They want all the power and privileges of being a man, but they don't want the agency or the responsibility that comes with it. Facts are simply trumped with shaming language and appeals to emotion. So some common falsities that you hear, like the gender pay gap. First of all, like, this is a very old thing that they've been trying to say. Even in my university, they tried to do this in my debate class, So case in point, I had a project where we were supposed to pick out a really, really interesting topic. And I had, in my group, there were 4 people, me included, all right? So you had me, a gay guy who was openly gay, a little soy boy from Thailand who didn't seem masculine at all, and then I had a female who was a straight up feminist from China, fat, pimply face with glasses, right? So with our project, I wrote down so many different topics like war, propaganda, the money system, corruption and high levels of government, mass media deception. Like, I had literally about 20 topics that I wrote down, and feminism being one of them. All of them pick feminism. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, all these topics and you guys go directly to that one? So I said, all right, well, who's going to be for and who's going to be against? So all of them wanted to be for. I'm like, dang, like, we're supposed to go against each other at like a debate, and you get a good grade based on how you're able to, for example, use deductive reasoning, how you're able to use inferences and interviews and really, really good information to build a case for your argument, right? So that was one of the things that I attacked head on, was the gender pay gap, because when they give you that statistic that, what do they always say, women get like, 70 cents for every dollar a man makes, they don't even account for the fact that men dominate so many different professions that women will not touch with a 10-foot pole. Like, for example, sorry about that. For example, if you take like some of the most dangerous high-paying jobs, women are nowhere to be found in that shit. Like oil rigs. You know how dangerous it is to work on an oil rig? How high the chances that you can be severely injured or die on the job? Women don't touch that. But they don't account for how much money they make and how women don't choose that profession when they talk about the statistic, right? Another thing they that was on that list was like people who do construction. How often have you seen, let's say, construction on the highway, and then you might see one female out there, but what's she doing? Is she out there with the jackhammer strong enough to hold that big ass thing? No. Is she out there pouring concrete? No. Is she out there, they're doing anything that's physically labor intensive? No. She's probably holding a clipboard with a little hard hat and walking around being cute. And that's not me taking a shot at females, I'm just telling y'all the truth. So when you guys consider what women usually dominate as a job professions, they usually go with anything that's comfortable and safe, such as being in some type of office, secretary. You got some that are being like, let's say, doctors, lawyers, and things like that. But I'm saying there's also plenty of male doctors and lawyers. So it kind of trumps their, let's say, contribution to that profession. Primary education teachers, librarians. They choose jobs, clerk. You see what I mean? They're choosing jobs where they're inside and safe from the elements. But men take all the crazy ass jobs that pay the most money. So when you guys lump all your categories and want to try to say that women get paid 70 cents per hour, you're not even accounting for what I just said, and on top of that men work just longer hours. We also retire later, and we work in technical jobs that women typically don't have interest in, such as like IT, computer programming, the STEM fields, so on and so forth. All right, B, you also got rape culture that's attached to feminism, and you have false allegations where there's no punishment for women after they, let's say, destroy the livelihood of a man just from whatever reason, whether she makes an advance to him, he doesn't take the advance, she feels rejected. We all know women can't take rejection. She then says he tried to rape me, or he touched me, or they file some type of sexual harassment claim. That dude gets put under investigation, loses his job, has rumors going all around about how he's some awful guy, and then at the end it might even come out that this chick just lied. What's her punishment? She doesn't get a punishment. So where's the incentive for women to, let's say, not engage in false allegations? All right. Then you have another thing called safe spaces, trigger warnings, and microaggressions. So these are basically feelings over actual reality. So if I say anything like, let's say there's a female who's really, really fat, and she talks about how she deserves a good man, and I mention, well, most good men, or high value men that are in the top 20%, they want a woman who's in shape and attractive. That could trigger her. She could be upset, and I could basically get charged because I hit her with some hate speech, or I said something that hurt her emotions. But is it or is it not truth that if you're fat and out of shape, most dudes aren't checking on you? All right. Then you have over-sexualized stimuli. All right. This comes from movies, TV, music, and advertisements, which all push sexual misconduct. That's the over-glorification of casual sex as a status symbol. Then you have social media. Though it has allowed people to stay connected all over the world, social media has overinflated the egos of women to monumental proportions, yo. The average everyday woman is given free attention and validation online, which inhibits the average everyday man from even approaching such a woman and having luck with her. This shift in the dating world has caused staggering effects. So what we have today, I remember I mentioned in one of my other videos that it's not really a dating pool, it's more like a cesspool. And the reason being is that, like, there is no, how would I say, there is no fairness that's going on when it comes to dating. Now, this is not me complaining here, you know what I'm saying? I know how to navigate around this bullshit. I'm very limited as far as my social media use. And honestly, I just realized that the juice is not really worth the squeeze pursuing women. It's better to focus on yourself and just try to develop your hobbies, your passions, and try to become the highest value man you can be. And for the most part, when you get involved with a woman, you'll be distracted from all of that growth that you can have if you really direct your focus inward. So that's neither here nor there, but I mean, there's been all types of experiments. Like, I challenge y'all to look on YouTube. There was this female who basically, she was cocky that if she created a male's profile, she would be very successful with today's women because she knows what women want. She did the experiment where she uploaded a profile as an average guy with decent hobbies and, let's say, interesting way that he grew up and all of that. And she, every single day, reached out to hundreds of women trying to see if she can get some matches. And after a 2-week experiment, this chick was like depressed because she realized like, damn, it must be really hard for guys because I mean these females weren't even writing me back. You know what I mean? So it's like I had no chance at all. She literally had a 0% success rate after she messaged hundreds of women. Meanwhile, the average woman, not even looking all great, gets flooded with messages and has so many choices. So, you know what I mean? You have this staggering result where social media has really, really inflated the egos of women to monumental proportions. And then you have guys over here that even might look great, but they won't have anywhere near the success rate that the average woman will. So you have unstable relationships that are built on faulty foundations, and that's more common than strong, healthy, balanced unions. You know, like, seriously, dude, I look left and right. I don't really see any relationships that are flourishing like that. You know, and even if they do, there's a time limit on that flourishment. So you could be together with somebody for 5 years. Yeah, everything's good, but year 6, 7, 8, 9, you know what I mean? Now it's starting to get where the man typically is henpecked because the woman is going to be upset and not really feeling like she's getting what she deserves. I'm telling you, the ego of most women is really high, dude. They feel like they can do better. They feel like, you know, the man's always fucking up. I mean, how many times are you guys in relationships? How many times you listen to your girlfriend or your wife sit there and talk to her friends, and all it is like the dude ain't shit. You know, he did this wrong. He said that wrong. He made her mad this way. She reacted this way and expects him to do this, to do that. It's almost like every female expects dudes to kiss their ass. Even if you are a good dude, chances are your wife is going to run, or your girlfriend may run you so far up the wall and you don't even feel like dealing with it anymore. You know, you might become indifferent to the idea of splitting. So, in my opinion, relationships, the landscape is just totally terrible for it nowadays. You have a rise in the amount of single-parent homes. I grew up in that type of environment. Nobody had a dad around. Rise with the amount of people with, let's say, mental issues. Yeah, of course. Plummeting marriage rates. I can attest to that. Shit, really. Thought culture. Like when songs like WAP are on the number one, are on the top Billboard positions, you could only imagine how it just permeates throughout society, and women think there's more of an incentive to be a thought than there is to be an honorable woman. Increased promiscuity. Of course, everybody's trying to fuck everybody. It's just hookup culture, and don't nobody want nothing that will stick. Because how will it stick? You know what I mean? Even if you get a good relationship, chances are there's going to be some type of influence that comes across the table, whether it be for the dude gets influenced to think he can do better, or the female feels like that. Cheating and a lot of babies out of wedlock. That's nothing new. That's always going to be around. And then you have the end of chivalry and the end of chastity. Chastity being like the innocence that women used to have, where they would like value having an unused vagina. You know what I mean? Like, not just getting out here and just messing with every single dude that they can, because they know that their value is higher when they have less partners that have penetrated them. You know what I mean? But those days are long over. Just like the end of chivalry. You know, nice guys, gentlemen, they don't get the respect that they deserve. They just get trampled over, and guys who literally don't give a fuck about women typically get the best results. So my advice to young men, number one, never act thirsty, bro. You're not doing anybody a favor. You're just doing everyone a disservice. You're doing a disservice to women because they're going to get a bigger ego than they already have. And you're going to do a disservice to other guys because when you're thirsty, the next dude who might not be is already going to be tagged as that because she's come across so many other dudes that were thirsty. So just stop doing that shit, man. 2, only pursue women who reciprocate high interest. You can't lose with that. You know what I mean? You going out here in the mall and just trying to walk up to every girl thinking it's a numbers game. Man, what the fuck you doing? You better value yourself. Stop chasing after women, dude. Pursue excellence instead. And if a female is showing you high interest, yeah, then you can make the approach if you want. 3, read Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi. Like I said, that is mandatory reading for all males. 4, aim towards all your goals as a primary life focus. Women are oftentimes just distractions that will keep you from maximizing your potential. Like I said, You know, you get with a girl, you're on your purpose, you doing your thing, you hustling, this and that. She likes that about you. Then what happens? You start falling in love, you stop chasing your purpose, you stop hitting the gym, you stop reading, you stop thinking about, making moves. You want to just spend more time with her. She's going to act like she wants that. But the minute you give it to her, she don't want it. Now you're not as attractive because you don't show all the qualities you had in the beginning. Everybody plays the fool. There's no exceptions to the rule. You're going to get burned sometimes in the dating scene. It's going to be girls that play with you, toy around with you, and you're going to be none the wiser. As soon as possible, develop and attain a skill, trade, or profession, because you're useless to the world without being able to provide something. That's absolutely true, and that plugs into my next point, which is find your purpose. Increase your financial literacy, know about credit, different investments, save for retirement, all right? And at bare minimum, dude, you should have at least 6 months of working salary stashed away in case something happens, emergency fund that you can immediately dip into should something happen where you're not able to work or, you're on hard times. Lift weights, maintain your health and physical fitness. Hey, that is imperative for men and women, but I'm talking to dudes here. Nigga, if you ain't working out and hitting the weights, in my opinion, you losing. You're doing yourself a disservice, man. For real. Don't speak on what you won't go after. All it would do is limit your power, and it's like crying wolf. People won't believe you when you actually are doing something. So be quiet about shit unless you're serious about really doing it. Set up SMART goals. All right, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Marriage is risky, but if you decide to go through with it, which I wouldn't recommend, try to marry your best friend. Good luck with that shit. Avoid the college debt bubble. Have patience and know that all great things take time to process. So, this video is a little bit longer than how I normally go, but, I'm trying to instill values in men so that they can avoid the mistakes that most guys make. All of us are on a journey trying to become the best versions of ourselves, and, based on the things that I've learned and seen and gone through on my own journey, I'm just trying to reach back and drop some game, some jewels of wisdom to the younger cats out there that might stumble across this video so that they can avoid all that bullshit that I'm going through or have been through, all right? So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to hit y'all in the head with more topics later on, but that concludes this video, all right? So y'all take care of yourselves. Holla back.